What's up, guys, and welcome back to Skins in the Game. We got JW here. How you doing, JW?
Living the dream.
Is that what they call it now? Living the dream.
Yeah, I'm living the dream where the Redskins are a good team and they're in the playoffs.
Oh, so fantasy. That's what you're saying. I see.
Dream. Yeah, it's all.
No, that's cool. All right, well, of course, we got a fun show tonight. We got Dad Joke of the Week we'll start with. What do you got? We have the name discussion. We'll talk with the dad about that. Eagles game review that seems like it happened 14 years ago already. So we'll talk. We'll recap that again real quick. A couple of questions, then we'll hop into the Giants game discussion. And should we win it all? And then Dad's weekly predictions. He's one out of the money in his little league or whatever. So he's, sitting in fourth place, you said?
Yep. I'm
But
1 point out of second.
Out of second, yes.
So second and third are tied. So I'm not going to catch first place. They're 7 points ahead. So unless they completely forget to pick, I'm not catching them. So
What's up, Pat Squares? We got the Pats in here. What's up, guys?
How's
it going? All right, sweet. Well, let's get this thing started. Dad Joke of the Week. Do you got a good one?
Well, I don't know if it's a good one. It's a dad joke.
That's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
I got you.
Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No.
Great food, no atmosphere.
Great food, no atmosphere. Oh, my God.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yes, because you can have a great atmosphere and a great vibe, as they call it. See, that's a super dad joke because now the kids call it a vibe. It's not an atmosphere. It's a vibe. You got good vibes, Dad. You got good vibes.
Sorry, I'm heading towards being old and crotchety, so I don't get all these young kids things.
Oh, that's funny. That is hilarious. All right. Well, good way to start. Good. That's actually probably one of the better ones so far, if we're being honest. Honestly.
It's one of the better. It's on the upper tier of.
Honestly, I don't even like it. I think you need to say one word. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. All right, well, let's hop into what do you got, JW? What do you got?
Okay, well, I got a combination. They're two, but they're related. One was Jay Gruden sent out, I want to say he sent a tweet or something that said, the Redskins should have never changed their name to begin with. Like, his opinion matters at this point, but where was he?
I love his opinion.
Yes.
Can it matter? Can we make it matter? Make Jay Gruden matter again.
Right. I'm not saying it's not the correct opinion. I'm just saying it's like, what's the point at this juncture of this whole process when they're announcing the new name that he's going to say they never should have changed it. Then the other related what you got or what do I have is what do I got? Make sure I say that right. Is Ron Rivera told the media that he does not know what the name is going to be. Do you buy that?
Interesting. I didn't hear. He does not know what the name is going to be. I negative by that. Like I'm like so below. Like that is 0% true. Like that is like no shot. Is that possibly true?
I agree.
That he has no clue what the name is going to be. And also, I think they said they were going to lie. Like, they were going to obfuscate as much as they could. They probably were the ones that put out the Washington Admirals website, the Washington Red Bull. You heard about this, right? The whole, that basically there was a point where you could type in WashingtonAdmirals.com and it sends you to the Washington football team page. And then there was another point.
That's not so. A lot of people do that anyway, just to stop other people from getting.
Well, domains. Apparently it was some guy from Georgia. They say. Could you do that? Could you go and create, like, just you personally, on like literally you sitting at your computer? Could you just go create a domain name and then send it to somebody else's website?
Yeah, you could redirect it anywhere you want. You set up in the home page when you go there. You set in a redirect. It says when you get here, you go over. You could do that to Microsoft. You could do that anywhere you want.
Yeah, so apparently it was some rando guy in Georgia that did that for the Washington Admirals, and he also did it for the Red Tail, or I don't know if he did the second one, but somebody else did the Red Tails after the fact, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's definitely somebody
did
out
you
there
see the
playing
meme?
games.
Did you see the meme of the picture of all the baboons like walking away, and they got the bright
Red butts.
blood, and they're like, "Don't go with the red tails. We'll be hearing this." And I'm like, "No kidding." And I know there's a few other areas that we won't mention here where it's definitely don't that I'm glad.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah.
do that.
All right, well, let's hop into this name thing. We've already started to touch on it with the What You Got. I liked it. But, all right, so we got a new name coming February 2nd, 2022. Are you excited to see what this new name is? Are you on the edge of your seat? Are you giddy with excitement that this is going to be one of the biggest days in Washington history?
In a word, no. But I gotta be honest. The Washington football team is growing on me, and
Yeah.
I know it's not. I'm not advocating for it. I know they're not going to keep it, but I've started to
Embrace?
if the Redskins had to go, which apparently it did. It was a smokescreen for other stuff going on at Redskins Park, but I really like Washington football team. It's like a shot at the NFL and all it's like, no, we're not going to pick a mascot now. We're just going to be the football team. We don't need any kind of name. So
Brown Boy Sports Talks agrees with you.
Yep, I second that agreement. but no, I like it, and it's they always refer to them as Washington. They'll say the Eagles this, the Eagles that, and Washington because they're not going to call them the football team. So it kind of causes all of them to get caught, tripped up a little bit, and I kind of like it. And I know, like I said, it's not going to happen. Yeah. I get it, but I'm starting to like the Washington football team. I like the numbers on the helmets. I like it's like that we just play football. We're not, oh, we got a, eagle dancing around on the sideline.
We don't just play football. I wish we just. I Googled Washington football team, just kind of like get an idea of like what is going on, and you should see the titles of these things, of like, Washington breaking former running back star Clinton Portis sentenced to prison for 6 months. Like McLaurin play Washington finale, and then Giants. Heineke's future. There was a couple of other ones that I wish that I screenshotted now that were like, it was 4 of the top stories that had nothing to do with Washington playing football. It's like, oh gosh.
No, so I agree with you.
Did you hear about this Washington of the Clinton Portis thing?
Oh, I know about it. I didn't know what he ultimately got sentenced, but
yeah, 6 months in prison for healthcare fraud. Yeah.
I love the fact that his lawyer claimed that they thought they were doing something legitimate and had no idea that this was going on. Okay, you falsified records that someone got a hyperbolic chamber.
Yeah.
They never got it, was never delivered, but you filed with the insurance company that, hey, you got this and somehow you claim, oh, no, I thought I was involved in something legitimate. It's like, dude, great football player, but you must think the average population is stupid.
Voldemort wants to know who we think are the starting QB is going to be. We'll get into that for sure, but let's get back to this name thing again.
Okay.
So, I have become... Basically, the name has become the 2022 now NFL playoffs for me. And it's anybody but the Cowboys. And the name that I have deemed as the Cowboys is Red Tails. So at this point, I have become anything but Red Tails. And as long as it's not Red Tails, I'll just be like, okay, whatever, cool, whatever.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. So do you think the name will have red in it or not?
Only if it's Red Tails. I don't think it's going to be like Red Hogs or Red Hawks or like
Red
the
Wolves
only way it has red in it is Red Tails.
You think? I mean,
in my opinion. I think, and then if it's not one of those, I think they're gonna go with like admirals, commanders, I don't know, generals,
what
and something like that.
commander in like the not the I know USFL is not there, but in there a commanders in another league. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I'm not familiar, but yeah, like speaking of that, Red Wolves is out, and you read why that Red Wolves was out?
I did not.
Yeah, Red Wolves is out because it would have been too much litigation for them, basically. Basically, they say it would have been too much for the trademark and too much going through the whole process and this, that, whatever. And I think that is just the biggest ball of crap that I've ever seen. Literally, we have teams with the same name. New York Giants, San Francisco Giants, St. Louis Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
Like, they have the exact same name. And I think even, are they not the same? Well, I know the Giants and like the two Giants are different, but aren't the Cardinals like literally the same logo?
Oh, it's pretty close. I'm sure
Like,
there's
well, I know that the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team has like one with a bat, like a cardinal with a bat in there. But I'm sure they have. It's a cardinal. I mean, how different can you make a cardinal? Like the logos are going to be look darn near the same.
One feather's going this way instead of this way.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yet somehow it's impossible. It's so ridiculous because we will be too close to the Minnesota Timberwolves if we're the Washington Red Wolves. Like, it's not even remotely close. It's a different animal.
Right. I mean, you have Seahawks and Blackhawks in hockey.
Seahawks, Blackhawks, yeah.
By the way,
I'm sure
just
you can think
real
of some
quick,
other ones, but go ahead.
Real quick aside, it was the San Antonio Commanders, were a professional American football franchise. In the Alliance of American Football, the league began play in February 2019. So they started play in February of 2019. It was suspended in April 2nd of 2019. So they did not. It lasted 2 months. But yes, I thought I recalled. I would never have guessed the American Alliance of Football, but
Lance said they had their team names before the copyrights mattered. And yeah, the Blackhawks one is it's a whole different. It's not a bird like the Seahawks are. But you have, well, I don't know, like when did the Atlanta Hawks come about and the Seattle Seahawks? When did the Seattle Seahawks come about? I mean, copyright is not like a thing in the last 20 years. Copyright's been around for a very long time. When were the Seahawks created? It became a team in 1977.
Oh, they've been around that long? Wow.
Yeah, in the AFC West. And then when did the Atlanta Hawks come around? The Atlanta Hawks. Probably longer, right? Atlanta Hawks.
I'd be lying if I said
1968. So, yeah, the Atlanta Hawks were a thing before the Seahawks. And then, so in 1977, which I'm pretty sure copyright laws were a thing in 1970. Like, when were copyright laws created? Well, the first copyright law is enacted in 1790. So it's been around for some time, but I don't know. It's the whole thing is, I think it's a whole different animal. Like it's within the same species, but that's like saying you can't have eagles because I have hawks.
Yeah,
They're all birds. Stupid. It's like just because they're wolves doesn't mean they're the same wolf. And it would be red wolves instead of timber wolves. And it would be Washington instead of Minnesota. And it would be burgundy and gold instead of purple and green. Like, there's so much different that, to me, this is outrageous.
I can't remember. Sorry, I was just going to say, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was in the 50s that there was a politician, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but said that the patent office is no longer needed because everything that's going to be invented has been invented. So he was advocating that the patent office get disbanded because there's no more new ideas. It's everything's done. So anyway,
Yeah, I agree about Red Tails. I respect the idea, but it's too obscure. It's not that it's obscure. I really don't care about its obscurity at all. Like that is bottom of the list of why it's such a horrible name on so many levels. But all I'm going to say is this, okay? And honestly, this is not even the worst by any means, but it's enough. Imagine losing 56-14 with your name being Red Tails.
yes.
Just go down that thought process for 2 minutes. You won't need that long, but if you do it 2 minutes, you'll certainly immediately want to run from this. You'll want to tuck your tail between your legs.
Yeah,
and,
you don't want to be
again.
a bad football team with a name like that.
Oh my goodness gracious! Oh, it's so bad. But anyway,
And
all right.
I'm sorry, but I think that and look, I don't bash Dan Snyder as much as some people do. I think he deserves some of the bashing he gets. Obviously, he's got a lot of problems, but somehow I think they're going to pick a name that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Somehow, I just think it's going to be
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's going to be like, really, you went with that?
At this point, I literally I've said it again. I'll say it. I said it once. I'll say it again. Whatever they choose, if as long as it's not Red Tails, I literally will not say one bad thing about it. You know, like I just don't care. And also, I hate this whole process. I want to say that too. This process has not made it interesting. This process has not made me, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? This process has made me so tormented, tortured, just drugged through the mud. Like, it's just a terrible feeling right now. I just want it to be over. I'm done with it. I'm not interested. Once they canceled out the Red Wolves, I'm so done. And even with them saying it's a fan favorite, and they still were like, nope, we're not going to even try to fight for it. No, thank you. Like,
I see Lorenzo has an interesting angle on it, which I cannot dismiss at all.
I think it's all smoke. Who says that just because they told us it wasn't, that it really means that it's dead? I still think it's going to be Red Wolves. I'll take
maybe
it.
Maybe they're trying to throw us off the scent. And no, this is too much of a problem. They could always come in the last minute and say, hey, we worked out the kinks in this, and so it's a very legitimate opinion. I can't argue with it. Just because they said it doesn't mean, just like Dan Snyder said, I'll never change the name. Right?
I'm not getting my hopes up.
No.
Don't do it. I can't. Don't do it to me. I can't. Because I want it. I want it bad. If that happened, that's the one name they could pick where I'm going. I would be actually thrilled, and they would have got me good. But for now, because they took it away, all they did for now is just turn my heart into stone, and I'm just so done on this whole process, and it sucks. But
what if they change? What if they chose the Laughing Hyenas?
I swear, anything but Red Tails. Anything,
anything
but it. Make me the Washington Baboons, and still I will take the Baboons with that baboon picture that you talked about. Did you talk about it on here, or did you talk about it before the show? I don't remember.
I talked about it on here.
Yeah, I'll take that baboon image with being called the Baboons before I'll take that baboon image being called the Red Tails.
Right.
It's give me anything other than that. I think it's just such a horrible name. And if they pick that name, you'll find out why in great detail, because I will definitely not be happy. All right, well, let's talk about this game that happened, I think it was back in 1976.
It does seem like it was forever ago. I agree with that.
Happened. It's the Washington football team played last weekend, apparently, against the Eagles. If you want to, it was actually it came down to the wire. They fought hard.
We outgained them.
Game. Did we totally outgain them in yards? You might be right.
It's 118 rushing to 214. So in my book, that's 332. And the Redskins had 94 rushing and 247 passing. So that's 341.
The one thing that you're not doing is if you include sack yardage subtracted, we did not outgain them. But if you don't
because of the
include
218. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's 218 instead of 247. And then so that we would have barely not outgained them. But if you give those sack yards back, but you can't. So anyway, it was a hard fought game. We had a 10-point lead again twice against the Eagles this year. Did we blow a 10-point lead? And we had the ball with under 2 minutes and a chance to win the game.
It's unfortunate that guy, and I know people were complaining there was no penalty there. It was not a penalty. They got their legs tangled up or whatever, and he fell. But it's a shame because I don't think it was a bad pass. Who knows if he would have caught it? But to have the game end like that was very disappointing. To have them move down the field, 2-minute offense. You're thinking, okay, they can do this. And the other thing that bothered me, of course, was the spread was 3.5. I told you I can't pick against the Redskins. I don't have it in me.
Wait, the spread was 3.5
on my Yahoo pick'em. Yeah, the spread on the books for Sunday was 6,
but on yours it was 3.5.
Because they lock it in at the final comes in on Wednesday. So as of Wednesday it was 3.5, and then they lock it in and it doesn't change over the weekend. So the sports books had it at 6 or 6.5, but in the Yahoo pick'em I'm in, it was 3.5.
Washington would be in first place if football was only played in 2 quarters. Yeah, I think so.
That's a very good point, because I thought that this game, it seemed to go, notwithstanding the last drive, but it seemed to be more of the Redskins a couple years ago where they played like a half of football in the second half. They would kind of fold. So I kind of got that feeling from this game that in the first half they were very competitive. They were fired up. And the second half, it just seemed, so to his point, or to their point, whoever it is, I agree with that. It kind of felt like they only played a half of football. So.
Well, yeah, last year we played much better second halves, especially in that stretch that we came back and made the playoffs. It was actually we were a second half football team, and it's sad to see that go away because I think it's pretty much been the opposite. Like I wonder what. Well, first of all, we've given up a ton of opening drives, which is not good. But I bet if you went and looked at all of the opening drives of the second half, that might even be worse than the opening drives just to start the game.
Right.
And that's bad too. So both of them are horrible. And it sucks that, I don't know, but I'm actually happy we lost this game, okay? I don't like to tank. I'm not a tank guy, but it turned out that it pretty much wouldn't have mattered since the Saints beat the Panthers and the Niners won, because with that happening, it would have been really tough because even if we would have won and the Saints then would have lost, they would have had the head-to-head on us.
Right.
Because they beat us earlier in the year. So we may have been eliminated mathematically out even if we won, or if it would have been such a weird, convoluted direction that we probably wouldn't have won anyway. So we lost. It doesn't matter now, and I hope we lose this next game. But I mean, it's hard to also talk about this game in any really interesting fashion of what to take away from this game. It's a lot of the same. We didn't get the ball to Terry a whole ton. He got 8 targets, 7 catches. Jarrett Patterson is an undrafted free agent. How much are you going to judge him at the running back spot? And he played okay, 4.8 yards per carry and a touchdown. Heineke, I don't really care about Heineke anymore. I've been off the Heineke train for a while. I think he's already lost the job in the last few weeks, so this just
his arm's just not strong enough.
Yeah, so
it's just not. He can't make those off-balance throws that, the Mahomes, the Rodgers, the Herbert,
Justin Herbert, Josh Allen.
Yeah, they can just be turned the wrong way and zing the ball 30 yards. It's just.
Ooh, J.D. McKissick just signed? I just read J.D. McKissick signed a new contract.
I did not hear that.
Well, apparently it may have just happened. J.D. McKissick. Is it J.D. McKissick? J.D. McKissick. J.D. McKissick. Doesn't say yet. But all right, well, we're paying this guy. I'd be curious to see what it ends up being. I'm not I don't want to pay a running back at all a ton of money. And I know JD's been awesome the last 2 years, but I'm not looking to pay him like $5 million a year. I think that's too much for a third down back, and we may end up paying him like a 3-year, $15 million. How many years? How old is he? 28. Yeah. So.
I agree with you. I like him. Don't get me wrong, but I think from a running back perspective, especially not an every down back, but
right.
I do like Patterson. I think Patterson's got some pop. I'm guessing he's young. I don't know his name offhand or age offhand.
Patterson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only like 23. I think he's a little old for a rookie, but he's still really young. He's got a lot of time left for sure.
I like and hey, they made a lot of third down conversions, if my memory serves me. I was surprised to hear they only had 1 sack. I thought there was more than that, but maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage. And I know Jalen Hurts is difficult to contain, but
well, after we got the sack earlier in that game, he pretty much escaped the rest of the way, I think. And I think the same thing happened with Dak Prescott. It sucks. We can't stop anybody.
Well, and let me just say this.
It's really unfortunate.
Let me just say this about, and again, I'm not claiming this to be the reason why we lost. Get that straight. Dallas beat us. But I am so tired of a quarterback slipping between 2 offensive linemen and 2 defensive guys hooked up, and the defense goes to pull away, and the offensive lineman has his jersey and is stopping him from pulling away. I saw that at least a half a dozen times in the Cowboys game, and it's so frustrating to see that when the defender tries to pull away and you are gripping him and stopping him from doing that, that's holding all day long. They don't call it. And look, again, I'm not saying we would have won the game. We got our butts kicked by him. That's fine. But I'm so tired of that. Dak does it very well. He slides between, you have 2 guys right next to each other, and he slides between, and a defender can't grab him. A defender can't cover him. And it's like, because the offensive line's got a handful of jersey pulling him back in, and that's holding. And they do it. It's not just in this game. They do it all over the league. They've been doing it to the Redskins defense a lot in these games where they don't call holding. And it's one of the many complaints I have about the refs this year, their inconsistency. And it's almost like they're trying to steer the game in a certain way.
Yeah, I hate inconsistent calls as well. I think the call needs to be adjusted I don't care if you're holding as long as it's inside. If you're holding in here, I don't care. If you're holding out here, then call it. Because that's really what you're trying to prevent while holding, is you don't want people tackling people. If you're tackling people, then you're holding, and it's not good. That's the whole reason. If you eliminated the holding penalty, the game would become all unwatchable because people would just tackle the guy in front of them and just take him to the ground, right?
Yep.
It would just be stupid. So that's what you're trying to prevent. But if you use proper technique and you get in there under the shoulder pads right here in the chest, hold all you want.
Yeah,
this is where you're allowed to hold.
I agree. If the guy's trying to get past you, I'm fine.
I don't
with
care.
That.
If you, I'm saying right now, and this is not the rule, obviously. I'm saying what I think it should be, is I don't care if they hold and tackle him to the ground. As long as their hands are right here where they're supposed to be, hold and grab them all day long. Because if you're a great defensive lineman, you should not be able to get held here. Your job as a defensive lineman is to keep their hands off you. So you got to work on your technique to get their hands off here. Also, you need to be strong enough to rip them off. That's a whole part of it. But if you let them inside here, you lost. Yeah. And that becomes becomes the dance that the offensive line and defensive line has with each other, is don't let them get in here. If they're out here holding, that's a hold. Throw it easily. So they can't tackle people, because that's what you're trying to prevent. So I am That's how I think fix the holding rule. It can make it much more consistent, much more less like a complete game changer of when do they decide to call it, when do they don't call it. Because the whole joke of the NFL is you could call holding every play. If you really wanted to, you could call holding every single play.
Which is what they brings me back to my point of sometimes it seems like the refs are trying to steer the game in a certain direction because they'll call it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times they won't call it. And to your point of inconsistency, it's, be consistent. It's just like they talk about in the NBA that in the final 2 minutes, the refs will change how they call the game because they don't want to affect the outcome of it. It's like, no, if it's a penalty in the first minute of the game, it's a penalty in the last minute of the game. Call it.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, this is a critical part of the game, so the refs are letting them play. It's like, no, well, then let them play the whole game.
Yeah.
Don't call anything.
By not
other than
making a call, you affected the game.
Right.
By not making a call. Yeah, it's bad. And I completely agree with you on that one. All right, so I got a few questions here.
Uh-oh.
Now that we're moving on from the Eagles game because
is this multiple choice?
I forgot what happened. Just kidding. No. Are you a fan of Ron Rivera? Do you still like him as a coach? Do you like him more? Do you like him less? Are you a Ron Rivera fan going into the 2022 NFL offseason?
I am a fan. My knock, or I don't even know if it's knock is not the right word, but my only concern is the cancer battle took out some of his that his cancer battle took away some of the fire. I do think he's a good coach. I think he's a good player coach where he can talk to people. He has standards. And maybe it's a temporary thing, but I know I've brought this up before on the show that I feel at times he's reminded me of Jay Gruden. This is his position through the whole game, and I'm not sure that he hasn't permanently lost the fire.
Yeah, there was one game in particular that he was actually getting heated on the sideline. And I don't remember which one. And I
know exactly what you're talking about. He was up in the ref's face. He was
adamant
about something. That was so refreshing to see. That's why was saying I hope it's temporary.
Yeah.
Where maybe you have a brush with death, with cancer, and then you come out of it, then maybe football doesn't matter that much right now. Life's a little more important. So I'm hoping that he's able to get more of that fire.
Yeah.
And that would be my only concern, but I'm absolutely a fan of him. I've heard him, the little snippets of him talking to players at practice, or, when something will happen, he'll sit down and talk to somebody. I saw it when he was with the Panthers, that I think he's a really good, I don't want to say people person. I think player person is better because he can deal with how the psyche of a football player. And, and let's be fair too, that this whole COVID BS, the most healthy guys, I would argue the most healthy guys in the world, they tested positive for COVID, no symptoms. 90% of them are vaccinated, but let's make them, sit on the sideline, which is going to give Kirk Cousins an excuse for why Minnesota didn't make the playoffs, because he didn't get to play the game against Green Bay.
Yeah.
So now he's going to say, wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Well, it was you. You shouldn't have got COVID. Excuse me. No. All right. So my take on Ron Rivera, and I'm gonna say there's two things about him. There's two parts, and one I completely agree with you that I really do like, and it's the one that you talked about, is his personality. Like, he is a great players coach. He is a great leader of men. Like, I think he was one of the biggest reasons why we went on that 4-game win streak with the whole every Goliath there's a stone, right? And the throwing of the stone at the end of the game. It really got the players to buy in and believe that they could knock off the Super Bowl champs and go out and beat Tampa Bay and then end up going on a 4-game win streak and rode it all the way to Dallas. And I think that was huge for the mantra of this team, and I think he does really good at motivating grown men to get to the next level, which I love that about him. The other part, and arguably more important, unfortunately, he absolutely sucks. And that is hiring people to do the jobs. Scott Turner's not a great offensive coordinator. I think he gets too much flack, but he's not great. Jack Del Rio has been absolutely abysmal. And I liked the hire. That's unfortunate. But he has been so bad at the defensive coordinator spot. He hired our GM, who is an absolute joke of a GM. He's terrible at player evaluations. Terrible. You look at his history of the draft, and it's embarrassing that we hired him. It's literally that bad.
Hey, don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what you really think of.
Yeah, it's that bad. Martin May, the best draft Martin Mayhew had in 2013 is when he drafted a punter in the 5th round. A punter in the 5th round should disqualify you from being a future GM. Like, that is just so disturbing on every level. I don't care if he became the best punter of all time. You do not draft a punter in the 5th round of the NFL draft. And then, on top of that, he traded up for a long snapper. This last year, he traded up for a long snap. He gave up a 5th round pick for a long snapper, Dad. And a 7th rounder.
So are you saying, I guess that would imply that this guy has complete autonomy and doesn't have to get the approval of Ron or, I hate to say it, or Dan or somebody else to say, hey, I want, or Doug Williams, whatever the hell Doug Williams is doing.
Well, no, what Ron Rivera does, Ron Rivera hires people to do a job, and he lets them do their job. And we saw that with the whole, remember right going into the bye, he was like, I haven't even evaluated this team. And then he's like, all right, now I've evaluated and I'm going to make some changes from here. And then we moved Landon to linebacker. We played Cameron Curl more. We started running the ball, controlling the clock, time of possession. And it was like, it wasn't until after the bye that we made these decisions. And so I think that Ron Rivera is totally a guy that believes I am hiring people to do the job and I'm going to let them do their job.
Which I love that mentality. If you don't micromanage. I hate micromanagers. But...
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I see him with these people. And so that when they go into the draft, yeah, he wants some say. He's going to say like, hey, I like this dude a lot, blah, blah, blah. Like I've evaluated this guy. Like, and he's going to put his stamp of approval on whatever they're doing. But I don't think he does it to the point where if he does something, if they do something that he disagrees with, I don't really like that. But he doesn't have like a vehement reason of like, no, we are not doing this. He's going to let them do it. Right? He's going to let them take all right, you know what? It's probably not how I would do it, but you know what? You did your research, you did your evaluations. I'm going to trust you because I hired you to do the job. And I think he sucks at hiring people. He sucks at it. And that sucks. And that's a huge part, especially if you're going to be that hands-off coach in a lot of ways, right? Hands-off is probably too brutal. Not micromanager. How about that? You don't want to literally play the puppets strings of every single thing going on in the team. You want to hire people and let them do their job. And if you're going to be that kind of a coach, then you got to be great at hiring. And he's not. And that makes me really, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you got to have both to be a great coach. And unfortunately, right now is he's not very good at a very important part. And it's going to hurt us for a few years because that GM hire is so bad. But anyway, so
hey,
my answer is
G-Man agrees with you.
G-Man! It's only me and you, bro. It's only me and you. No, just kidding. Oh, man, that's funny. Martin is alone, LOL. Isn't alone. There's Herney there, too. Yeah, Herney is like he only drafts first rounders, if I remember right. Like if you go back and look at like Carolina, like they didn't have a lot of good later round guys, but he hit on a lot of first rounders. But it looks like they didn't with Jamin Davis. But I think if you, I haven't looked at. Sorry for the cough, but no, I haven't looked at it in a while. But I have this memory of looking at Mayhew's drafts, and it was mainly like a lot of good first round picks, like Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis was a pretty good one for a while. I think he had a few really good first round picks, and then after that, it was like maybe a hit randomly here or there, but nothing very good. But Martin Mayhew's horrible. Cheese cost me a 5. I don't know if he lost $5, but definitely a 5th round pick he cost us. That was horrible. G-Man, your avatar is terrible. I don't even know what his avatar is, but who cares?
It was Trump.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Who cares?
Trump doing this.
Oh, this when he's like,
yeah.
It's tremendous. Big league. Cheeseman, Cameron Cheeseman,
the greatest of
greatest
all time.
pick. It's tremendous. Believe me.
And I know football picks.
and I know draft picks. Okay, I know. Yeah, exactly. Cam is a bust. Now what? Cam Newton is a bust. I don't think Cam Newton was a bust. I don't think.
No, him bringing him back. He's like 0 for. I forget. Is it 0 for 7 or 0 for 9 in his last starts? So
I gotcha.
Not initially. I think he's talking about when they brought him back because Cam's thing was I'm back, and he has. I don't know that he's won a game yet. Maybe he has by now, but
no, I think they are really bad. Like they're like something like crazy, like 0-9 in his last 9 starts, dating back to before he got cut, or something like that for Carolina. Obviously not including his starts in New England, but I'm talking about just in Carolina or something. It's something brutal like that. Yep. The good news is there's only so many more ex-Panthers Ron can bring in.
Yeah, I don't know if
he's exhausting them. That's for sure.
In the Redskins, the one group I'm on Facebook, somebody said, I heard Ron wants to name the Redskins the Panthers. I thought that gave me a chuckle when I saw it.
I bet there's no copyright infringement there. I bet they're fine. So,
yeah.
Just kidding.
Panthers 2, or no, it's Panthers with a Z.
Ooh, Panthers with a Z.
Going
I think we should be the Pink Panthers. Oh,
that could be the new touchdown song.
The or that's what we run into. Are you not hyped when you hear that?
All right,
go Panthers! The PPs! Go PPs! The Pink Panthers!
I think we've jumped off the rails. We need to move on.
Oh, I am off the rail. I'm off my rocker for sure. All right, let's get back into a more serious question. Would you rather draft a quarterback or trade for one?
Well, my easy answer for me is I'd rather draft one, but because most quarterbacks, I don't want to pay for a mid-30s quarterback that's established, a good quarterback, or give up 2 picks, 2 first rounds, or however many picks over how many years and pay a boatload of money. Mm-hmm. I would say if I thought that our team had everything else it needed, or most of everything else it needed, and a quarterback would take it over the edge, much like Tampa Bay, who Tom Brady went to an absolutely loaded team and is a great quarterback, not arguing it, but he
and then brought in other people to make it even more loaded. Yeah.
Right. So in the condition that the Redskins are in right now, I would draft a quarterback, but I wouldn't do what they did with RG3, which was traded up, basically sold the farm to get up to number 2. Being that the hit rate in the draft, I believe, is 50%.
In the first round, something like that?
Yeah. Quarterbacks that are drafted in the first round are 50% at best. So I just knew when the Colts took Luck,
Mhm.
and we got RG3, that the odds say one of them was not going to pan out.
Yeah. One's
Now,
going to be a failure.
who knows? If RG3 doesn't hurt his leg, his knee, whatever, with that, I think he came out like gangbusters. I think he was a tremendous athlete. I think his ego might have been a little fragile, but I think that leg
Just a little.
injury,
Yeah.
blame it on, and I'm not getting into the details of whose fault it was, whatever, that after his leg got hurt, I think his psyche changed.
Yeah.
And, somebody just said something about Heineke.
Taylor Heineke. Are you sold on Taylor Heineke?
I just don't think he has the arm strength. I said that
I'm
earlier.
not sold on him. Yeah. I'm not sold on him at all either.
I mean, he's a great competitor. The one thing you were saying about Scott Turner is not that great of a coach. I thought his offense in the Panthers when he was in Carolina was very dynamic, and we had this discussion before, which I don't know the answer to, is whether or not his hands are tied because of Heineke.
Oh, 100%. And I know I kind of crapped on him earlier, but when I said it, I said he's not great. Like, he didn't hire a great coach. I think that Scott Turner is good enough to win with. Like, if you dropped a top 15 quarterback on this team with him, I think you could be a top 10 offense potentially, depending on who else is there. Like, I think you can have. I think he does enough with motions. I think he does enough with run and pass, doing different things like trying to switch it up, trying to be dynamic in a lot of ways. Like you said, the word, to steal your word. I'm not like a complete Scott Turner hater, but at the same time, if you told me Scott Turner were fired tomorrow, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, we lost the next great thing.
No.
I wouldn't be freaking out.
One thing that boggles my mind, and I don't know why this is, whether it's Scott Turner's play calling or Heineke's limitations, which I can't imagine it's that, is why in the hell don't they roll the quarterback out ever? 3-step drop, 5-step drop. He's right there. You roll the guy out and roll him in the direction of his arm so he can throw it. But you had Dallas teeing off on them. Mm-hmm. He had literally zero. I don't think with that kind of few quarterbacks would have been able to be successful in that situation. But they don't roll him out. Did they have one roll? I don't think they had one rollout in the last two games.
In the last two games,
I don't.
If they did, it's not. Whatever. If you find one, good for you. It's definitely not often.
Right.
I'll grant you your point for sure. Of like he doesn't. He definitely does not roll the quarterback out often. But I don't necessarily think you have to. I don't think Tom Brady rolls out a whole ton. Like it's not like he needs to be moved a whole bunch. Like it's not a bad idea to move it out, but at the same time, if you do it too much, you do make it easier for the defense because the defense is covering one half of the field. Because a majority of the time, of course, you can throw it every once in a while backside, but a majority of the time that you're rolling that rollout, you're gonna throw it to that side as well. So it makes it a little bit easier there.
If they're steamrolling your offensive line with 6 and 7 guys, then they're committing to the blitz or whatever. You got to move the target. You have got to move the target, and they never do. By the way, Lance agrees with me, so I must be right.
Lance is actually the only person in the chat that has been right every single time he's chatted. So I think you're actually on safe company there. So
there you go.
There you go. So actually, I'm just going to shut up and let you guys talk. You want to come in, Lance? No, just kidding. But no, it's So anyway, I just want to go back and just say, like, I'm not a complete Scott Turner hater, and I'm also not a Scott Turner lover. That was my only point with that. But go back to the QB discussion. A QB is the only thing that matters now. And the reason I believe that is if you look at a team like Kansas City, yeah, they have some good pieces over there. But
they have the fastest guy in the league. That doesn't hurt.
That's fine. And as I said, they have some good pieces. I'm not saying that. But we have some good pieces.
Yeah, you're right.
If you look at our team, we have some great players. But we have some holes, and people called out the holes, rightfully so. Our linebacker position is garbage. Our free safety is not great. Somebody asked about Bobby McCain, if you're glad he's coming back. I didn't know he was coming back, but I'm not thrilled with Bobby McCain. I don't think Bobby McCain is super good, so whatever. But anyway, like, we have some really good pieces on this team. But we have holes, and you know about the holes because you don't have the quarterback to cover them up. Guess who has a whole lot of holes? Kansas City has some gaping holes in their linebacker and their secondary, the rest of their D-line except for Chris Jones. That's an absolute beast. Like, that defense has been horrible this year, and yet they're 11-5. How can that be? Oh, wait.
Because they score a lot of points.
Yeah, it's because they can average 5 points a game if they want to. Like, It's insane the amount of points they can put up. Like, I'm sure you can find holes on a lot of teams that have these great quarterbacks and yet still find a way to win double-digit wins. And it's the quarterback is the cover-up. If you're talking in makeup terms, right? Like, you just cover it all up because you have your quarterback. You could have blemishes all over your face.
You're talking about the foundation?
Oh, sure, the foundation, right? Like, yeah, you could have blemishes all under that thing. As long as you got the foundation, you're going to look good. And the quarterback is that. And you can even have not great coaching, and the quarterback can hide a whole bunch, right? Like, it's Aaron Rodgers covered up terrible Mike McCarthy for a long time. There's a lot of good that needs to come out of the quarterback. So to what you said earlier, I would trade the house for a quarterback if I believed in somebody that much, I would trade the house for him. But you have to get a guy. If you're going to overpay a guy, then you got to have a guy like Tom Brady that can bring people in. Right? Like, you got to be able to bring in other players that may be willing to take some pay cuts to compensate for how much you're paying the one guy in the quarterback position. But yeah, so I'm somebody that if we have to trade 3-4 picks at this point to get a top tier guy, I want it.
But you want it out of the drafts, right? Like, I know I've heard rumors about possible Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is 30. What?
I would love it to be out of the draft. Yeah, if you told me that, if you told me that I'm getting a quarterback for the next 10 years, then I would love the draft. But if you also told me that, hey, we're trading for Russell Wilson tomorrow, I'm not going to complain. Like, there's going to be problems with it. Like, you're going to have a cap struggle now, like a cap space struggle. You're going to trade a lot of capital, and now you're going to have to really hit free agency in smart ways and try to fill a couple of holes. But Russell Wilson, again, he's going to cover up a lot of those problems. He's
how old is he? Is he like 30? He's got to be mid-30s, right?
33. I think he's 33. But maybe. He could play for another 7 years.
Well, I don't know that I agree with that because he's a scrambling quarterback, and when you start getting the upper 30s, I mean, Tom Brady's playing at 44 because he doesn't have
Aaron
to move
Rodgers
much.
Is dang near 40, and he's a scrambling quarterback.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And like, Russell Wilson's not a scrambling quarterback in the same way that RG3, Mike Vick, like those guys, or Cam Newton, like those guys relied on their legs. He's got tremendous legs, but he also has a phenomenal arm and does a lot with that arm. So I would love a guy like that. But it's definitely not a God, I cannot escape this cough, sorry. But it's, and as I said, I would still prefer a quarterback in the draft. So I'm with you that my number one choice is if I can get a guy on a rookie deal that can succeed. Because that's where you really get the bang for your buck. Like, the Chargers have a bright future for the next 3 years because they have a Justin Herbert. The Bengals have a great future for the next few years because they have Joe Burrow, right? Like, where they're completely underpaying him because a quarterback of how at the level that they're playing, they're underpaid. And I would love that idea. But I'm at the point where we've been 20 plus years in the quarterback hellhole, whatever you want to call it.
All right. I just saw MP's comment.
Oh, gosh. Just draft a QB with every pick. Odds are at least one will pan out. Yeah, somebody posted that on one of the Facebook groups. That was funny. The only draft that may help us. And yeah, he drafted like 7 quarterbacks or something like that. Yeah, that is pretty good. Washington Red Tails starring quarterback Kirk Cousins. Oh, pig. See, this is why I
I
didn't say
actually
you were
had
always
somebody.
correct.
A friend of mine is a Minnesota Vikings fan, and
Yeah.
he is a 100% Kirk Cousins freak. And he said that that Kirk Cousins gets zero protection and has no chance back there to succeed. Blah blah, and he's going on. And then I remember watching them, I think 2 weeks ago, and they said the Minnesota Vikings have the least sacks allowed in all of the league. And I thought, okay, well, if he has zero time, but anyway,
Yeah.
he also likes to be contrarian, but he's like, Kirk Cousins is great. I'm like, great, you can keep him. Sorry, but anyway,
Well, you
I know
got
we're
him.
running out of time, so let's roll on.
Well, we got time. Just kidding. I don't know. Do you not have time?
I got some time. I don't have all the time in the world. So.
Well, I got all the time in the world, so you have all the time in the world. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about this Giants game discussion. And first off, I just wanted to bring this up. Somebody else mentioned it, and I thought it was funny. And honestly, tonight was the first time I actually read the quote. Because I remember Joe Judge apparently took a shot at the Washington football team. And, like, I didn't read the exact quote, but then I saw, like, oh, Joe Judge was like, oh, I really wasn't talking about Washington. Yet, this is the quote. This ain't a team. Like, somebody was asking, like, do you think that the New York Giants, something along the lines of, like, were you in the, like, why do you think the Giants are still, like, a good organization or good team or something? Like, do you think they still have a bright future? I can't remember the exact question, but something along those lines. And this was his response. This ain't a team that is having fist fights on the sidelines. This ain't some clown show organization or something else. You talk about a foundation built. The toughest thing to change in a team, in a club, is the way people think. You understand that, is his direct quote. And I don't know how in the world this is not directed at the Washington football team. Like, how is it? Literally, we had 2 weeks ago, players throwing punches at each other. 2 weeks ago.
Well, it was one punch. One attempted punch.
Kind of. Yeah, pretty much.
Look, and I agree with another person I was talking to that, sorry. I was reading what Dr. Pig said.
You'll stay here as long as the chat deems you necessary.
But I agree with, in fact, your uncle was saying that he has zero problem with that. And the putting the hand on when he touched the side of his head, that is like, I didn't realize this at the time, but that is like something that's terrible. And like, basically, if you touch somebody like that, you're I don't know, putting them down is not, but
disrespecting them.
Yeah, disrespecting them, and I have zero problem with that fire. No, you're not going to do that to me. And he takes a swipe at him. They went to college together. They're old friends. It's like, I have zero problem with that. It's not like every week, you're
losing 56-14.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, with what he did at Tampa Bay, nobody's talking about Tampa Bay being the problem. They're talking about Antonio Brown being the problem because they're winning. Winning is the best deodorant. Yeah. But, I wouldn't call it, they've got issues, they've got holes. I don't think it's the clown show, nearly the clown show that I thought it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
or maybe
because we were a big clown show with Bruce Allen. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
Well, there's definitely things that are happening that are pretty clown showy. I mean, your freaking lead therapist or whatever you call it, lead trainer is getting arrested for selling drugs or something crazy, being a drug dealer.
Oh, is that a problem?
The changing the name debacle that it keeps going. I don't know. Like,
yeah, let's make a big fanfare so we can show you the jerseys.
Yeah, it's so bad.
You know what they should have? If they're going to do it, just come out and say, "Hey, we came up with a new name. It's this. We'll show you the jersey next week."
Yeah. As far as the fight goes, though, I think Ron Rivera should have suspended him. Maybe for a half or something. I think.
Oh, they sat him down. He didn't play. If you notice, for a while after that, he was on the bench.
Duran, but I think Jonathan Allen too. I think they both should have sat. Because I don't think you should be throwing punches either. And I respect the heck out of Jonathan Allen. I love Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, but Allen didn't throw a punch.
Yeah, he did. He's the one that threw the punch. Duran's the one that pointed it into his head, and
Sorry,
then Jonathan Allen threw the punch. And so I think both of them should have been suspended for a half. Like the next game, they should have been there, made an example out of, and a big reason is because Jonathan Allen is a guy that you would expect to not get punished because of how high character of a guy he is. But if you punish him for any length of time, that shows the rest of the team, I don't care who you are. We're not throwing punches at each other on the sideline.
Right.
We're not putting our fingers in other people's face.
I've got it backwards, but Allen threw the punch. I thought it was the other way around. I'm sorry, I got it backwards.
Well, Daron Payne sat for a while because he was out. He couldn't be consoled. Like he was the one yelling on the sideline trying to get back at Jonathan Allen. Like he was, like other players were coming over trying to be like, "Hey man, relax," and he's yelling in their faces. Like, Jonathan Allen basically threw the punch and moved on because that's the kind of guy he is. But I think that they both should have been suspended for a half or a game, whatever you want to do. Made the example of. You're talking about changing a culture. You're doing that, and you're doing that to a Pro Bowler on your team. And I think that
Right.
should have been how it was handled. I think that Jonathan Allen would have taken it in stride. I think he's a high character dude that would have just easily, you know what, I shouldn't have thrown the punch, and he would have taken it exactly how a leader should take it. And why I think that is because he said he went to Alabama because he knew Nick Saban was a drill sergeant, essentially, and Nick Saban would have everybody else doing the right thing, and he's like, I don't care because I am going to do the right thing, but I want somebody else making sure everybody else is going to do the right thing so we can go win. And I think,
and I'm a big advocate of that from top to bottom, just like I was talking about consistency earlier, that if it's bad for the 40 or the 53rd guy on your roster, then it's bad for the first guy on your roster.
Yeah.
That you can't have this, well, he's really, really good, so we're going to just kind of look the other way, but you're an average player. We're going to nail you and not nail the big guy. So
yeah, I think it should be. But it's and I think that would have been a great moment for this team in the culture change, but it didn't happen. And who knows? Who knows where we're going to go from here? But
by the way, G-Man, I agree with you. I think that there is quite a few, not just him, but I agree that I think our defensive line is, they're getting held all the time, and they're not just Payne, but yes, I think they're holding people. I've heard this from multiple people, and this is not homers that are like, oh, Redskins, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, it's maddening.
This is definitely something that's been beat in, but yeah, the Indians had their name for over 100 years, and they just went, we're the Guardians now. It takes us 2 years and a whole making the brand series and blah, 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 and the season's over, but we're still going to wait a few weeks and this, that. Oh, the whole thing is just gross. But it is what it is. All right, so I don't really care about this Giants game at all, but I do ask the question, should we win this game?
Yes.
Oh, you say yes.
I agree with you. I am not about tanking. It's not going to, what is it going to improve their draft pick? How much is it going to improve their draft pick? One or two spots?
It could, I think 2 spots it could pick.
So what are we talking about in the top?
Maybe
5 they're getting between 5 and 10, right? Or are they
But
top
it
5?
could hurt potentially 4 picks. Like you could go from pick 9 to pick 13 with a win.
Really?
Yeah.
So 7 and 10? Is that what they're going to be if they'd win? Are they 6 and 10 right now, or 6?
Yeah, they would be 7-10 if they win.
So at 7 and 10, they're only the 9th worst. Yeah, I guess there's a few teams.
So I am not a believer in tanking until you're out. Like, I wanted to make the playoffs. That's why I didn't want to tank. I wanted to make the playoffs because I wanted the mindset of our players to be that every year we make the playoffs. I don't care what it is. You find a way to get yourself in the playoffs. Like, that's what I wanted, the quote-unquote, a part of the culture change. That's what I wanted. But we're sitting here. We've been eliminated from the playoffs. Why in the world would I win this game? Am I really going to... Yippee! We beat the terrible Giants who just lost 30-3 against the Bears. Yes, we're so good. We're taking this win into next year and we're going to ride this momentum. No, you're not getting any positive utility out of winning this game over a garbage team. I would say instead of 5 keys to victory, I should have created 5 keys to defeat. I think that we should totally lose this game.
But what makes you think the Giants aren't thinking the same thing going in here? And what if you have 2 teams trying to lose the game? How funny would that be to watch?
Dad, I want a Pat Shurmur sighting. Do you even know who that is?
Pat Shurmur.
I'm okay. That's the point. You shouldn't know who that is. He's the 5th string quarterback on this team. He's on the practice squad. He is. Wait, did I say Pat Shurmur? His name's not Pat. Pat Shurmur's his dad. We have his son,
I get your
somebody point. Shurmur. See, I don't even know who it is. I want him. I want him on the field, and I want to lose this game. I want to do what the Eagles did last year and played Nate Sudfeld against us instead of Jalen Hurts.
You realize if we play a 5th string quarterback, he's going to throw for over 500 yards, and we're going to kick there.
Kyle Shurmur, thank you. Yes, Kyle Shurmur is his son. No, I want him in the game. He is so. I want to bring back Steven Montez, who I think's on the Packers practice squad or something. I want him, bring him back to start this game, just so it's so bad. Then I want Terry McLaurin to play until he gets 1,000 yards. Then you're sitting on the bench. I don't want to play anybody this game. Everybody sit their buns on the sideline. Don't even suit up Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Charles Leno that you just paid a bunch of money. Don't even suit these guys up. Bring people up and play them and lose this game proudly.
Wow, how in the hell does McLaurin have 960 yards? I feel like he's been invisible the last several games.
Yeah, well, we definitely don't pay him enough. But anyway, or get him the ball enough. But anyway, yeah, I know who Pat Shurmur. I messed up. I should have said Kyle. But anyway, but yeah, it's. I am all for losing this game, and I'm not somebody who likes to lose games, but to me, there's no benefit. You're not getting a single benefit for winning this game. You're literally, it's not cool, it's not fun, it's not, oh yes, we won, we beat if we were playing the Cowboys, try to win the game. I mean, you're trying to beat a playoff team. That kind of thing could be interesting, and you hurt the Cowboys' playoff rankings. Right? Fine, cool. If we were playing the Eagles this week and you wanted to play spoiler to knock them out, cool, even though they can't get knocked out. But, if you wanted to play spoiler, fine, win the game. If you were playing somebody else that had a chance, if the Giants were, 7-9 right now, or 8-8 trying to make the playoffs, win. Okay, now I have some sort of benefit of, hey, we knocked out our division rival out of the playoffs. We played spoiler. That's cool. That's fun. But to beat a 4-12 Giants team with Jake Fromm at quarterback, what? Why is that? Why is that a good idea? I don't think it is.
No, I get your point, but you never answered my question. What happens if the Giants have the same mentality? How is that going to work?
Nobody can lose like Washington. Nobody can lose.
I don't know.
Like Washington.
But according to Joe, it's the clown show over here. So
according to Joe, it's the clown show.
Even though
wants to win to have momentum for announcing the Washington Red Tails on February 2nd, 2022. Oh, this team.
Lance, you're killing me, man.
This team, they would do that to me too. They would totally do that to me. Win the game, have the 13th pick instead of the 9th, and then call us the Red Tails. They're testing me. They're testing me. We have Ray Charles referring our games.
Refereeing.
Oh, refereeing our games. Officials are blind and newborn and out of the womb. What's up, Abel? Elbow cough. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. With a Kirk Cousins trade. And RG3 signs as his backup.
Yeah.
Only team that will lose more fans for winning.
The chat is on fire today.
If it's red tails, I'm done. I'm out. I can't leave. But man, they are torturing me, man. I can't. Like, I've thought about this, and I'm like, do I really try to find a new team with such an embarrassing name? But I can't. I can't leave. Like, I'm like a battered wife right now. Like, I can't get out, and it sucks. I'm at their mercy. Whatever they decide to do to me, I'm here. But anyway. All right, I don't want to keep you too much longer, so let's go ahead and do your weekly predictions, and we'll get on out of here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. It's definitely been fun, but yeah, we're going to do this and get out of here soon after. Oh, no, RG3 will release his book.
Forward by Bill Cosby.
Oh,
I can't.
awesome.
I can't believe the one thing that RG3 is claiming he was sexually harassed. Did you hear this?
I know the whole thing. It's funny.
I mean, come on. Anyway, all right. So hold on. Let me get over to the right.
We got
week
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, for sure. I am beaten and battered, and I can't get out.
All right.
And I won't get out. It sucks. But go
all
ahead.
right. So I need to.
Yeah.
I need to outscore the two guys in front of me to get to second place. Will mean about $800. I think $700, $800.
Ooh,
so
nice. All right. Do you want me to read the games, or you got it?
I'll read you what I got. So I got KC at Denver, giving 10. So KC's favored by 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with KC, but I'm wondering if I don't know if this win means anything to them.
Yes. Oh yeah, they're in a heated race for the number 1 seed. They're currently in the number 1 seed, but they can lose it if they lose.
Okay. Dallas at Philadelphia. This is a tough one. Dallas is favored by 7. It's at Philly. I hate to pick Dallas, but I just don't think Philly's that good. I know they just beat us, but anyway. Cincinnati.
Neither team. The only team that has anything to play for is Dallas. For position. Well, actually, both teams have positioning to play for.
Yeah, because Philly's not mathematically out, right?
No, if Philly is mathematically in, as in like they can't get knocked out. They're locked. They have made the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah. Even though they're
At
sitting
8?
in the 7th seed, they can't get eliminated because the Saints are in the 8th seed, and even if they have a tied record, Eagles have the head-to-head.
What are the Eagles? 8-8?
Eagles are 9-7 right now.
I didn't think they had a winning record, so.
Yeah, they're at 9-7, and then the Saints are at 8-8. So even if the Saints win and move to 9-8, and the Eagles lose to fall to 9-8, they have the head-to-head. So the only team that actually can get knocked out that's in is actually the team ahead of them at 9-7, because the team ahead of them is the Niners. And it's weird because the Eagles beat the Niners earlier. No, sorry, the Niners beat the Eagles. Excuse me. So they have the head-to-head tie. But the Eagles beat the Saints, so they would have the head-to-head tie. But if it became a 3-way tie, if all of them ended up being 9-8, the Eagles would end up jumping the Niners because of the conference record. The head-to-head is not a thing anymore because it's a 3-way tie. So then it goes to conference record. So Eagles have the best conference record, and they would be in there. So, all right. So Dallas -7.
Yep. So Cincinnati is at Cleveland and is favored by 3. I'm going
Cincinnati's at
with
Cleveland.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah. Cincinnati is giving 3 to Cleveland at Cleveland.
Is that what you're taking?
And I'm taking Cincinnati because I don't think Baker Mayfield is right. If he did he even play? I guess he did. Yeah, he didn't look right. Green Bay is at Detroit. Am I missing something on this game that Green Bay is only favored by 2.5?
Oh, they must be. Are they sitting Rodgers?
I still think they're going to beat Detroit, but yeah, it's got to be something that they're the number 1 seed, right? They're 11 or 12-4. I think they're the number 1
they
seed.
are the number 1 seed. They're locked in. 13-4. No, 13-3 right now. So they can't lose the number 1 seed. So they may be sitting.
Yeah, maybe, but I still don't see Detroit beating them. Detroit's probably going to tank. To your point, that can't do them any good. So I'm guessing that Green Bay's still going to cover.
Okay.
All right, Minnesota's at home, giving Chicago 2.5. I am picking Chicago.
Chicago.
I assume that.
What's the spread?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah,
I hope you're right. Because if
yeah.
we lose and they win, that helps us in the draft pick. We move up to 8.
All right, Washington is favored. This is amusing to me, even that it is the Giants, but they are favored by 6.5 at the Giants.
Burrow's resting? Is that true?
I don't know.
Wait, the Bengals could get the number 1 seed, though. Can't they? Is that a thing? Oh, wait, the Eagles cannot. No, wait, hold on. The Bengals could get the number 1 seed with a win, though. If they win and Kansas City and the Titans both lose, I think the Bengals could go all the way up to the number 1 seed because they have the better conference record at 9-3. They beat Kansas City head to head, but that wouldn't matter in a 3-way tie. So I'm shocked. And if they lose, they could fall to the 4th seed and then potentially lose out on home field advantage in the next round. Or I don't know. It's interesting. Very interesting. What up, Juris?
I was going to say, hey, Juris.
Sorry,
we're missing you on these picks, just so you know. But
we
anyway.
did our picks last night this time, so we're good.
Okay, fine. Then you.
I have a 4-point lead, and he picked only 4 games different. So he's trying to go 4 for 4 and tie me, and then overtime will go into the playoff games.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, so go on to the next game. You pick Chicago.
Right. Yep. Indianapolis is at Jacksonville and is favored by 15.5. Don't like it. I'm going with Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, 15.5.
Yeah, I don't like giving that many points.
But the thing is that the Colts are in a must-win, not a must-win, but they could get eliminated if they lose.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not going to play, but I just think that Jacksonville they might win by 14.
Gotcha.
But I don't think they're going to win by 15.5. Baltimore's at home, giving Pittsburgh 5.5. This is always a tough game to pick. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
Wait,
just because,
Pittsburgh's getting points?
Yeah, 5.5.
Wow, give me Pitt for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I got Pitt heads up or like straight up. Points?
Yeah, I don't think normally those division games are really close. They're hard fought, so I'm thinking it's more going to be like a 3-point one way or the other. It's going to be a close game. So I'm going with Pitt. Here's another one that stinks to me. Tennessee is at Houston. Houston's got a lot of their players back. Tennessee is giving 10.5 at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Houston. Could be totally wrong, but I don't like that many points. And like I said, Houston's a lot more healthy than they were.
Yep.
New Orleans at Atlanta. Atlanta sucks, but is the Saints going to play their rookie quarterback again? I don't know, but I'm going with New Orleans right now, but I reserve the right to change that once I know their quarterback situation.
Okay. Well, also the Saints are in like a must-win, so they're going to be much more interested in winning that game. What was the spread again? I'm sorry.
4.
Okay. And they're giving 4 to Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta, and Atlanta sucks. So I'm not saying that. I don't think it's a bad pick, but I want to know their to see if there's something else going on there.
Okay.
That's why I changed to Miami last week because they played the rookie quarterback and he was completely inept. So anyway, all right, Buffalo is at home and they are giving the Jets 16.5. Don't like it. That's more than 2 scores. I don't think, if Buffalo's up by 14 in the second half, they're going to run. I don't like it, so I'm going with the Jets.
Okay.
Too many damn points. And of course, Buffalo's going to win 40-12. Watch, because they've been rolling off a lot of points. But anyway, the Rams are at home, giving San Fran 4.
Rams are at home, giving San Fran 4. Okay.
I have to go with the Rams. I mean, I know San Fran's got to win, but I just think the Rams are
Well,
pretty
also the the Niners have beaten them like the last 6 times in a row. Did you know that?
good. Really, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting stat. And by the way, I reserve the right to change any of these. On Saturday, I review my picks as
Well,
the weekends come in.
They're not changed on my book.
Well, okay. Well, all I know is what Yahoo says I scored.
Uh,
New England is at Miami, giving them 6.5. New England's been rolling off tons of points. They've been beating teams hugely, so I'm going with New England.
Big league.
Big league.
What was the spread again?
6.5.
Okay.
All right, then we got Arizona at home, and they are giving Seattle 6.5. I'm going with Arizona.
Okay.
Tampa Bay is at home, giving Carolina 8. I think Tampa Bay is going to bounce back now that Antonio Brown is no longer with the team. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know if you saw Tom Brady's press conference afterwards. We really care for him as a player, and we love him and all that. And I really wish him good luck on the next team he plays for. Like, at his press conference after the game, it was basically like, oh, he's not playing. And Tom Brady went to bat for him. So he was basically saying, no, good luck to him in the next team he plays for. Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
So good. That's what good teams do. But anyway, so the Chargers, this is interesting. The Chargers are at Vegas, and they're giving Vegas 3. Vegas has been a hard team to figure out this year.
I completely agree.
Where they played some really good games and they played some crappy games, but I'm going with Las Vegas. The home team might be a close game, but I like the fact that they're getting points, and so that's my picks.
They're getting points. What's the pick? Oh, how many points?
Vegas is getting 3 at home, so they're basically saying, although they've changed the home field. It used to be 3 point. You got 3 points for being the home team. I think they've reduced that to 2, and that might have something to do with less because of the whole COVID thing. That they realized the home field wasn't quite as.
Well, yeah, like it's crazy. Like, yeah, the home team record was like negative over the last 2, or like really close to it. It's like a 50-50 home and away now.
Yeah. So anyway, those are my picks. I got to beat the 2 guys in front of me by 2 points, and then I'm in second place. Well, there's a couple people that are right behind me, so it's in theory I just have to have a good week and beat the 2 guys in front of me. I'm hoping to get 10 picks right, and then I feel pretty good.
You have some picks that should be different, which is cool. I don't agree with all of them, obviously, but it is what it is. I mean, like, but it's hard. Like, do you actually? I probably would still take Buffalo with 16.5, but and there's some of them that, like, I'd probably still take whoever Houston's playing again. Who's Houston playing? I forgot already. Tennessee.
Houston's playing Tennessee.
Them.
Yeah, but I've heard Houston went through a massive amount of injuries, and I heard, and again, that's why on Saturday I usually do my final review to see but my understanding is that Houston has got a lot of their players back and are not the same team they were early in the year.
Yeah.
So, but again, hey, it's a crapshoot, and I know because of the weight of this week, it's the last week of the season. It's to get in the money. So I'm going to certainly take a close look at all these picks, and it's very possible that I'll change some of them based on the final thoughts before Sunday. So
true.
Anyway.
Yep, a couple of you are late. DRG, disappointed. Asan, disgusted by you. No, just kidding.
We waited as long as we could.
Not really. No, it was fun. It was a good conversation, though. And thank you, everybody in the chat. A lot of great chats tonight. A lot of funny ones.
Oh, hilarious. The chat room was on fire, like I said. Hilarious. It had me belly laughing.
Yep.
Good job,
A lot
everybody.
of you was good. What's going on, guys? Same old Hassan joining late. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Thank you guys in the chat, and thanks everybody for watching. I think we got up to like 25 people or something like that. It was fun. It was a good week, even in a garbage year finish with the season's over. Everybody's probably pretty upset about it, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks for being here, J-Dubs. And until next time.
See ya.